Yo, what's up? This is Chief, and I'm here to say, hey. And, you know, as you grow older, you start to realize different things. And what was once an emergency is not that, really big a deal anymore. Once you start looking at things from a higher perspective, right? Um, we all got our problems. We all got our highs and we got our lows. And, sometimes one thing stresses us out more than another. And sometimes you just gotta get over it, grow up, you know, pick up your britches, put on your work boots, put on your hat, and you gotta go make something happen. You gotta be of service to people and help them change and really think about where it is that they are in life, where they want to go, and how they can get there. And when I say they, I mean me too, because I can't be the only one thinking the way I'm thinking. Be like, hey, this is a small fortune. Why would I want to do it on this project when it would serve me better over here, and especially with the economy and the way it is, and oh yeah, it's hard to eat and blah blah blah. And like, you know what? That's all just that surface level nonsense. What about talking about how you can get from point A to point B and what you really need to get there? You know what I'm saying? When it really comes down to it, when I'm pumping iron and I'm getting buff and I'm getting ready for basketball and doing my whole thing, I eat beans and rice and tortillas and chicken and beef and all the stuff to make salsas. You know what I mean? Chips. I drink only water. You know what I mean? And I think that those things are pretty healthy. And since I walk around at a really low body fat percentage for probably the better most half of my life now, I know what it takes to be here and maintain. And that's just humble roots type of eating. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, humble roots. You don't need to be flashy. You don't need to be extra when you're just trying to get up and come up. When it comes to all the flashy bling bling and things, you can get all that. That's no problem. But it's too much of a headache if it's not for you right now. And what I mean by that, it's it's a Apache Underground. It's a game, and you got to be creative. And it's about the one thing that everybody else keeps track of. It's money and assets and this and that. And you just got to come up, and you come up from nothing. Basically what you've been doing your entire life already. Now it's just trying to put it in an organized manner so you can have reasonable goals to get to, not like on Monopoly or not like on other games and things like that, like cash flow games. This is a different type. Why? Because it's current, it's with the times. I'm sitting here and we got cryptocurrencies and banking going on, but all these people selling, this product or that product, but nobody really understands it themselves, because if they did, they wouldn't be running around in this rat race like they have been for so far. And you know what? That's fine, because I've been doing it too. And it wasn't because, I was dumb. It wasn't because I was lazy. It wasn't because I was poor. It wasn't because I was rich. It was because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to play the game. Okay? So if nobody's ever explained the game to you, then, this is what we're trying to do. Now, we're not trying. This is what we're doing. It's building from scratch or with what you have and getting organized and making it to the next level. What do you mean by that? It's like, okay, so I, I'm a disabled veteran. I get X amount of money, and it's $2,000. Okay, I get $2,000 a month. Half of it goes to, or 1,500 of it goes to bills, and I get to keep $500. So that means my cash flow is $500. Now, when I say my bills is 1,500 or whatever, that's everything. That's insurance, car payments, rent, food, spending and everything. $500 is $500 for saving or for the game, right? Your bills has nothing to do with what your cash flow is. Okay, that should be separate. Now, the cash flow and increasing your cash flow is what the point and goal of the game is, right? So with that being said, nobody wants to play this alone, so like get with your friends, get with your pals, and spread the word, because it's fun. You're already doing it, you're just getting organized so you can get those things that you want, and share within your community, and how bad it sucks sometimes when you're down, but you're still here, so you might as well keep building up. You know what I mean? And it's about, having fun. It's about, opening it up to, everybody, meeting new people, and lifting each other up in a positive way. Like for me, I like to play basketball. I like to think about how to help people. I don't know, it's just always been something that I've done. I was in public service. I was in the fire department. I was in the Coast Guard before that. And, I've been in sales for the last, 10 years. I built a company, and I built another, and, still another. And, I'm just doing it, and it's nothing, except the ideas that are going out, and the progress and the positivity. And now being able to share, I felt like I was in a bummer, because I should have been doing this, I should have been doing that, but the thing I should have been doing was focusing on here, and doing these videos, and really opening up, and explaining, that I'm just a real person, and I sold cars for a long time. I sold insurance. I sold loans, and student debt relief. And, sure, I was able to do the job. Sure, my customers are happy, and I'd have repeat customers, but I still didn't understand who I was or what I was doing, right? Because in the game of life, it doesn't matter if you're a big actor on a big screen, or someone who's taking care of business in and around town. You're big in somebody's eyes, and your example could be worth it to one person. You know what I mean? So with that being said, it's time to change the culture and reverse realities and things like that. Everybody's been like rats in a bucket and crabs in a bucket, right? So we gotta start building bridges, and I'm talking about within the community, right? Because now that's on a whole other level, but I want to talk about that later. What do you call it? And opening doors, to good things that are happening in your own hometown, and with your own friends and your own family and stuff like that. Um, it's like, so far, we've all been in competition, but like, what kind of competition were you in? Like, just how do you see me? Like, you either know me or you don't. And if you do, what's up? And if you don't, like, this is probably the first time I really opened up like this, for my channel here. And it's important, because I want to be more successful, and this is one of the companies I've been building, and I it's awesome for me. I get to do things out in the community, like coach some kids playing basketball, and do some runs myself, and what do you call it? I work out, and I know I'm a good example in there. Always working hard, and I just keep my mouth shut, and and I give it my best when I'm there with what kind of energy I have, and that's what it's all about. Keeping your body healthy and clean, and doing, also listening to your body and giving it what it needs. And we're all animals here. Unless you want to evolve and become greater, then that's also possible, because everything is possible here. It's just about how much effort and time and thought you put into it, and understanding who is your audience, and what it is that they're looking for, and how you can help them. So in order for me in sales, for example, right, I have to go and talk to strangers that I've never met before. And before, I was looking at it like a script, like follow the script, and this, that, and the other. But I'm like, nah, there's a script for what's fake, but like, what's real. And when you start thinking about what's real, like, what kind of situation am I in, right? So I got, a bedroom, and I got access to a kitchen, and a bathroom, and, and none of it's mine. So it's like, okay, so what do you call it? I want to get to a place where, it's mine. I want to be in a house, in a place of my own, my own garage, and my own, washing machines, and water heaters, and something that I can fix up, and it can be mine, a reflection of me. What do I have that is a reflection of me? The things that I wear, my clothes, my hair, my body, the way I wear it, like nice and fit and healthy all the time. I got my car, and I got my clothes, and people may or may not know, but like, it's okay to have old clothes, because again, we're all in the same boat here, and what we're trying to do is trying to figure this game out together, so then we can all come up together, because life should be more fun. You know what I mean? There should be better options than drinking and partying and stuff like that, and that's why I created this, with the help of friends, and there's a lot of other, things that came in, to help too. And okay, so I can show you that I have a cash flow statement, and it shows like big purchases and things like that. And then I know how much I have. I know how much I'm getting next month. And then on top of that, I started working, so I have a little bit more extra cash flow every month. Now, what am I going to do with that cash flow? I got to build assets, so then I can have enough, and so I can build up my assets, so I can build up greater cash flow, and then put that cash flow on automatic. So that means it'll just be coming in without me having to work on it, Yes, sure, there's investments and stuff like that, and there's a lot of time it takes to get there. And not when I mean a lot of time, that can mean, a lot of time in a day or a lot of time in a month, or even a year, whatever it may be. Um, but you have to also set those goals, um, like you got to know, like kind of where you're at and where you want to be. When you look at your taxes every year, how much does it say you made? Okay, and then look at your situation. Does it match how you think that your mind should have things match with that? And then with that being said, it's like, okay, so getting back to the basics. What do you really need to get? What do you really need to have? What do you really need to be doing, right? So for me, coming up from nothing, like I made a lot of decisions when I was younger, that kind of messed up my credit and other things, and messed up my cash flow, like DUIs and getting in trouble, and then drinking and going out and partying and stuff like that. And that's everybody's story. But now that we can all be like, aha, I had one of those too, then you can reel it back in and be like, okay, so where you at now? You gonna let that be the rest of your life, or are we still coming here to have some fun and come up? And that's what everybody wants, right? Now, crime doesn't pay. Um, there might be a quick buck in it or whatever like that, but it's not going to pay. You know what I mean? You're not gonna make that type of money. The money that you want to make to get what you really want to be and stuff like that. And everybody says that they never want to go on a cruise, never been on a cruise, and they're dope. Like you want to go on one. Like if money wasn't an option, what would you have on this earth? You know what I mean? Some people would have very little, some people would have a lot, and that's their individual choices. But when you start asking those questions, you start figuring it out, right? Now, for me, with the cash flow that I had, that with all my bills and stuff like that, I pay rent, and I just got a new car, so my cash flow went from, let's say, like 1,000, then it went down to 500. Okay, because I had to buy a car because I knew I was going to be driving for work and stuff like that, and I need to have something I can get from A to B, and and to work, and super reliable. So I bought my car, and I had to get rid of my Cadillac, and that's okay, because in this cash flow game, maybe there'll be a point where I want to buy that thing back, or something similar, or whatever at that point. Okay, cool. Now, you gotta see who's out there, playing with you. Like your friends and your family. Okay, then the people that you're doing business with and you're meeting. These are other players in the game. These are people that are in your same situation, and these are people that may or may not have more experience than you do, or have learned, or finally come upon this idea and woken up and understanding, like, oh, we're supposed to be doing something different. Let's put this in perspective, and let's get down to business here. Why? Because the long suffering is real. Okay, I heard this today. The long suffering is real. But like once you get past that, and once you can get over the hurt of what's really the root of the problem, and that's knowledge, right? And once you get over that root of the problem, and you come upon this knowledge, then you're like, okay, so you can settle down, you can calm down, and you can get right. So then, we can continue. Okay, so, like for me, for instance, I learned how to live within my means, and I had some cash flow, and I'm doing okay. But now I want more, and what it really takes to have something in my city, at this time and this date, it costs about $800,000 to purchase a house with a little bit of land, that you'd be comfortable living in. And what that really breaks down to is you need to have, with 20%, $800,000. That's That's $200,000 down payment for a conventional loan. And that's really the only kind of loan that you're going to want for something that's $800,000 with these interest rates right now, right? Because you're going to be avoiding an insurance that you wouldn't have to, and that would be going more towards your principal instead of towards that. And that's just, quick and simple. Like, you do want 20% down. Like if you're going with those 3.5% down, I guess they're cool if you're playing a different type of game. But the game that I want to play is like have something permanent, have it paid off, and have it forever. There, I can pass it down to my kids and their kids, and kids, and all that stuff, right? And that's building an empire. Now, another thing too. So we're going back to me and the way I want to do things, right? So my $800,000 house right here in my home city, and it's the way I want. As many bedrooms, as many bathrooms as I want. Has nice land that I want, has good views and all that stuff. Clean. Could use a little bit of work, but not that much. $800,000. So 20%, that'd be $200,000 that I need to save up in order to put down on that house. Now, with that being said, the loan that I would be using would probably be my VA loan, and it's something like 42% of your average monthly income. So if you're making $9,000, you'd be able to afford maybe a $5,500 house, or you need to be able to afford a $5,500 house or a $5,500 payment if you're doing a conventional loan on an $800,000 house. Okay, cool. So you and your spouse, now me, I don't have none, so I have to do it all on my own, right? So I have to figure out a way to make $10,000 a month so I can have my dream here. Actually, it's more like $12,000 if it's 41%. But either way, so then I have to go out and find a job that's going to be able to help me get to where I really want to be there. Okay. Let's see. So I go and I get a sales job. Why? Is because in sales, there's really no cap. It's more about like how much you're willing to put into it, and how much you actually understand what you're trying to do for people, and and understanding your client and how you can help them. What are their fears? Do they like you? Like you got to be able to get past all that and down to the root of the problem, and have them and you have the understanding that they're just trying to do the same thing you're trying to do, right? They might already had the house for 30 years, but now they might be working on other investments and different other things. So you never judge a book by its cover, because that'd be foolish. Okay, so next it's for me, so it's like, okay, so now my income has come up a little bit, but it's nowhere where I need to be. I need to 10x that. So like how am I going to do that? First, cut off all the excess that you don't need, and then focus on the task at hand. That's prospecting. That's getting other people to talk to and different things. So when I'm out and I'm talking to people, like I said, I wasn't talking to people the way I should have been, because like I wasn't quite sure of myself. But now that I'm sure of myself, like it's like, how can I help you best? It's like I do got the secret formula. Let me let you in on some game here. And then use that as my gateway, to start talking to these people. Like, so I'm Eric, and this is who I am, and I understand that you're playing the same game. I understand that everything comes down to budget. I understand that things come down to liking companies that you're working with, liking the product that you're working with, and of course it's always working, like who you're working face to face with, who are you getting to know from that business to be able to do business, right? And then and then lastly, always if it's affordable, because if you can't do business because you don't have the money, that means you just can't do business, right? So like, hey man, like, is it me, is it the company? Well, you're still saying no, you're still saying yes. Like, are you saying no because you just bought this house, or are you saying no because, like, you shouldn't even be in this house, or like, am I wasting my time? And it's like, do you own this place? Like, because if you don't, then who should I be talking to? Okay, like, then you're moving on. So then, um, you know, can like, imagine someone knocking on your door and be like, hey, how you doing? And this is something cold that you've never heard of or wasn't expecting, right? Be like, hey, how you doing? Can I, like, my name is so and so. My neighbor's down, we're at my company. Neighbor down the street, they're doing some work, and so that means we're hitting up everybody in this neighborhood, trying to drum up some business. Are you gonna? We're giving out free estimates right now for windows, doors, and roofs. Do you have maybe 45 minutes? I saw a couple things in your house that might need work. I'm not the professional, but he is. But are you going to be home same time tomorrow or the next day? Maybe for 45 minutes. Okay, now what's your name? Okay, and this is address. Okay, your phone number. Okay, I'm going to have him call you, confirm. It could be one or two guys. I like so and so and so and so, and then we look forward to helping out with this estimate, and hope you have a great day. Boom, and you walk off, and that's your lead. That's what you do, right? That's a canvas. It's knocking on someone's door. But that's only one part of it. What if that canvasser was also the salesperson? Be like, hey, so you got some time right now? Blah 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 blah. Maybe not right now, because I'd have to go get all my my paperwork and stuff, because I wasn't expecting to talk to you today. But since I'm here, standing by, and just remember, this guy's talking to you, like, okay. But then now that you're talking to him on a different level, like, okay, so what did you really invite me in for? Like, this happens, but not too often. Okay, great. What okay, so it's like, what do you really invite me in for? Like, what do you really need? What can I help you with? I see that you're old, like, do you have anybody to help you, with decisions and stuff like that? Like, I don't, or I see you're alone, you got your wife, like, where's she at? You got your husband, where he's at? He's out at work, he's on the road. Okay, well, what about your wife? Where's she at? She's upstairs. Well, this would be really smart to have her down here too. I'd like to talk to her. What's her name? Blah 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 blah. Can you go get her for me? Okay, yeah, come on down. And then you're sitting with a couple, and you're like, hey, look, I understand that you guys are here, and your husband invited me in because I saw a couple things on the way out, but I just want to tell you, like, who it is that I am. I'm so and so and so and so and so and so. This is what I do. A little bit about me, and then you ask them about themselves, and be like, what's their situation? Be like, what do you do for a job? Okay, what do you do for recreation? What do you do for this and what do you do for that? And then you continue to work with that, and you're building the trust, the urgency. And then you got to figure out what the affordability is, right? It's like, what kind of house are you in? Is it all beat up, or is it semi-new? Did they just move in? How long they owned it? Like, what's really going on? How come they haven't addressed that before? Has anybody ever talked to them about this? Like, okay, so what do you do for a living? What kind of, what does that pay? What kind of budget am I working with, right? Because at the end of the day, you're there to give their house a makeover, right? Or you give their life a makeover that fits within their budget, and that fixes all their problems all in one. So with that being said, you're moving on, and you're moving on, and you're finding out what their needs are. So, you know, for me, have you ever worked with a contractor before? Um, yeah, what was your experience with that? You know, good, bad? Okay, yeah. Oh, you had a good contractor? Okay, what was his name? How come you're not working with him before? Was it here in this house? You know, show me that work. Oh, yeah, it must be nice, good work. Well, let me tell you about this one story. You know, this one guy. You know, he was there, and you know, he wasn't licensed, and this and that, and blah 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 blah. But then you tell him about, you know, your company story. You're like, well, the president of our company, he is licensed and he is bonded, he is insured, he does carry workman's comp, because you wouldn't want someone working on your house that doesn't have workman's comp, because if they were, then you know, you'd be liable for all the damages, right? Right. Okay. Well, our company, we do, you know, and why is that important to them? Because, like, well, I mean, you're playing the same game I am, right? You know, there is only so much money in the bank, you know. So, like, let's figure what that is and figure out what you want to do. I mean, you live in this house every day, right? This is your life, right? So, don't you want this to be a good reflection of yourself? Okay, so we put in nice, good windows. You know, those are like your eyes, the eyes of your house, right? And give it a paint job, you know, something that's going to last, and something that's going to be durable, and something that's going to pop and make the neighborhood look better, right? And put a nice little hat on it, you know, put yourself a good roof, make sure everything's nice and looking good, you know. Oh, yeah, I can have how can I do that, you know, you only have, you know, X and Y and Z. Be like, well, have you heard of this? If you did this, you know, you can do all this with your other bills. You know, what do those look like? You know, what is your budget? You know, let's break that down. You know, and you can get into that and be like, okay, so then what about X, Y, and Z? And then you leave, and you leave these people in a better position than when you found them, and you still get everything accomplished. You know, it's like, some of these people have never had anybody to teach them how to do better. They've just been, you know, kind of just like struggling, doing it all alone on their own, learning from other people that, you know, were in similar situations and stayed in those situations, or maybe hasn't, you know, like, but regardless of all that stuff, you know, like, how can you help who is in front of you, you know? And it's real, you know. It's like I mean, I wish I would have had, you know, somebody really sitting down and explaining and doing all that, because, you know, I needed to learn how much it takes to afford this, so I can have what I want, and then how sustainable is that, you know? So then, once you get to, you know, doing what you're supposed to be doing, and actually doing the job, you're going to start making commissions. And it's because you're doing good work, and you're helping people, and you're selling a good product, and you're being the best person, and you're doing all the right things. You know, it's like, it's time to start letting the people doing the right things win, you know. Why? Because they've earned it, you know. Like, learn a thing or two, you know what I mean? If someone's telling you, if someone's got, you know, a big house with all kinds of equity and this, that, and it, is because he's learned the game. But at the same time, be like, hey, look, you know, I know this is great, and I know, you know, I know you want to get the work done. It's like, well, why aren't you pulling the trigger? You know, and you got to really figure out why. You know, it's like, something might be going on with that guy over, you know, someone else over you. You know what I mean? It's like, what if you can't make that decision right now? You know, like, what if, you know, he's really not wearing the pants in that house? What if that's really in his house? And you know what I mean? What if, you know, of course he has the money, he has the house, and there's but then again, you might know, he might have, you know, you never judge a book by its cover. So, but it's like, yeah, you can do this, you know. Like, if you're really the homeowner, you can do this. If not, you know, like, what are you doing? You know, like, at least make sure it's fixed up before he gets back. You know what I'm saying? So, what are you talking about? Well, with that being said, it's been about 35 minutes. And like I said, there's going to be more of this. But the real thing is, like, we want to move up. We want to see each other do better. So we can only do that if we're helping each other out. So thanks. Peace.